Hello and welcome to my birthday Doctor Who collection update for 2020, which is basically showing you all the merchandise I got for my birthday and basically the whole year. This is kind of a mega collection update, so I'm basically going to show you the stuff I bought from January to basically now and throw in my birthday stuff as well, because there's quite a lot actually. Just looking how much stuff I've got, it's quite a bit, but it's about 3 months worth of Doctor Who goodness really, because we've got obviously Blu-rays, we've got Big Finish of course, we've got books, and figures. We've had quite a few figures actually to kick off 2020, which is always brilliant. So obviously we'll get on to that in a minute, but quickly I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who has watched and liked and commented on the Rose video, what I did recently with my girlfriend, because obviously she's not a Doctor Who fan, and I wanted to see whether Rose still stood up as a jumping on point for Doctor Who, whether it still gives people that buzz and thrill, and to see whether it still is a trip of a lifetime. So if you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description below to that video. It'd be very nice if you could watch it. So if you haven't watched it, please go and watch it. It's a lot of fun, if I do say so myself. So without further ado, that's enough of me rambling. Let's just get straight on to the good old collection update. What am I doing? Collection update. So kicking off with the Blu-ray, so we have the collection season 26. We've had season 14 announced, and of course it's been pushed back, and we've had the re-release of season 12. Yeah, I'm still watching season 26. I've watched so far in terms of like the new special feature. I've watched the writer's room, which was really cool. That was quite a nice little watch, and obviously I've watched the new making of the Curse of Fenric, which has probably been a personal highlight of this set, and I've watched a few of the behind the sofas. I've still got to watch the J&T documentary, which I'm probably going to do tonight actually. But of course, I'm still watching through the stories, and it's great revisiting these stories. I'm a big fan of Battlefield, and Survival's still great, and Curse of Fenric still my favourite 7th Doctor story. It's just brilliant, and obviously there's so many versions of Battlefield to watch. There's like 3 versions of that, and obviously Curse of Fenric as well. I've still got to watch Ghostlight actually, so I'm going to watch that later on as well. It's definitely on my priorities of watching, because I really want to see what the sort of work print version is. Moving on to Steelbooks now, we had the release of the complete 5th series, or Series 5 on Steelbook, and I have to say, this is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it, with the whole sort of Vincent van Gogh Starry Night motif with the exploding TARDIS, you know, the Doctor and Amy. It's just a really beautiful steelbook, probably my favourite steelbook they've done. It is beautiful, I absolutely love it. And Series 5 is one of my favourites, if not my favourite of the Revive series. I just love it. The 11th Hour is just how you introduce a Doctor. It's the best new series intro for a Doctor. Probably my second post-regeneration story. My favourite obviously is Spearhead from Space. It's just a brilliant story by Stephen Moffat. Victory of the Daleks, an underrated gem. I will defend Victory of the Daleks. Is one of my favourite stories actually from the modern era. I just love it. I just think it is brilliant. It's just a lot of fun. We've got the Angel 2-parter I love. Vampires in Venice is just a lot of fun. That's a forgotten story. People need to revisit Vampires in Venice, and obviously Amy's Twigs, again a very forgotten story, but it is brilliant. Vincent and the Doctor, marvellous, one of my favourite stories as well. It's just brilliant, and it just shows that Matt Smith is great. You know, Matt Smith just hits the ground running as the 11th Doctor, and the Pandora opens. What a great way to start a finale. It's a really good series, and I love it. I love Series 5. I will just praise it to the end of days. It's a really good series in my eyes. And then next up we have the most recent Steelbook, which is the Faceless Ones, the latest 2nd Doctor animation. Obviously we've got Fury from the Deep coming out very soon. I've watched 2 episodes of this so far. I'm not going to give my thoughts on the story because I plan to review it at some point in the future. But yeah, it's quite bizarre watching episode 1 in animation form, because you're so used to watching the surviving footage. Obviously you can still watch the surviving episode because they have included it on the release, but if you want to watch the colour version, then obviously you're going to have to watch the animation. Well, you don't have to watch the animation, you could watch the black and white episodes and cut back to the colour ones, but I guess it's a bit more jarring if you do that. But to be honest, that's all I can really say on the Faceless Ones. But yeah, the animation's decent. It's the same level as Macra Terror. In my eyes it is very much the same from what I've experienced really. So yeah, Faceless Ones. So moving on to figures now, we have the 13th Doctor line of figures of the Reconnaissance Dalek, the new 13th Doctor variant Graham, and the Jadoon Captain and the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. I've reviewed all of these bar the 13th Doctor, because I'm going to review the 13th Doctor when the resolution variant's been released, because there's no point reviewing it because I've literally saved the same stuff in the resolution review bar, the top's a different colour. So I'm probably going to save the 13th Doctor for when the other 13th Doctor variant comes out. But if you want to know my thoughts on the other figures within this wave, I'll leave a link in the description below to those reviews, to my Doctor Who figure review playlist. Next up we have the Doctor Who B&M figure sets, what were released at the start of the month, what would literally just sprung upon us, you know, literally going, oh by the way, these are out tomorrow. Obviously we've got the 3rd Doctor and TARDIS, which I have reviewed, and obviously we've got the revised, tweaked Doctor and Dalek twin packs, obviously with the 7th Doctor and Axis Strikes or Dalek, the 8th Doctor and the Dalek Interrogator Prime and the War Doctor and the Dalek Scientist. I haven't done a video on the Doctor and Dalek twin packs yet, but I'm going to do one big video covering them all, looking at the differences between the original releases from the last lot of Doctor and Dalek twin packs. So that'll be out very soon, probably be out next week, that video, you know, looking at the differences between the actual Doctor variants and obviously the Dalek variants, you know, basically just going, look, this is why it's different, it's a different blue, that kind of stuff. That'll be out, probably be next week. But if you want to check out my 3rd Doctor and TARDIS review, then please do, it's in my Doctor Who figure review playlist. And the last figure I'm going to show you is the Genesis Arc. I have finally got a Genesis Arc. I didn't get this back in the day because it was in the Genesis Arc set, and I didn't really want to get another 4 Daleks, and I didn't want to get the Woolworths exclusive Doomsday set, I think it was called. But I finally have it. I finally got the Genesis Arc, and it is really nice. I really do like it. It's really cool. You know, my friend had one actually, and I saw it then, and obviously used to put the Dalek inside. You know, used to basically put the eye stalk and the gun and the plunger there, so you could fit the Dalek inside. It's all very cool, and it's great to finally have the Genesis Arc in my Doctor Who figure collection, because I've only got a few more figures to get, and then I will have the complete collection really, which is going to be really satisfying. So yeah, Genesis Arc, and it looks really good on camera actually. Yeah, looks brilliant. So moving on to Big Finish, and there's quite a lot of Big Finish because Big Finish have done so many sales over the past 3 months. We've had obviously the Series 12 sales, and we had sort of the guest cast members who feature on Big Finish. They've done sales from like Warren Brown and Angie Mahindra. So I've got quite a few sort of Big Finish from those sales as well. But if we kick off with the main range, we saw in January the Dark Universe be released, where we see the 7th Doctor reunite with Old Ace to defeat the 11, basically the adventure before Doom Coalition 1. I have reviewed it, so if you want to check out my thoughts on the Dark Universe, and you know, check out that review. I'll leave a link in the description below to my Big Finish reviewing playlist, so you can check out the review for that. February we saw the Psychic Circus be released, where we saw sort of a sequel and a prequel. Yeah, I'm not going to explain how it's a sequel, because it is a sequel to another 7th Doctor story, but it is a prequel to the greatest show in the galaxy. Yeah, I haven't reviewed this story yet because I'm a bit too mind of reviewing it, because obviously of a certain character there, James Dreyfus, obviously he's caused quite a bit of a stir in the Big Finish community, and rightly so. So I'm a bit in two minds about reviewing this one, because I don't know. I mean, the story is good. It is a good story, but the Master didn't really need to be in it, in my personal opinion. But that's just me. In March, we have the last story from the 7th Doctor trilogy, and it is Subterfuge, where we see Winston Churchill and the Meddling Monk. So we've got a bit of a Time Lord trilogy, obviously with the 11, the Master, and the Monk. I've only listened to part 1 of this so far, but it is very good. It is a very good story so far, and I will be reviewing that one very soon. Going on to the sale items, I picked up the Catalyst, part of the 4th Doctor sale, which is the first Leela Companion Chronicle, which is really nice, so it'd be nice to listen to that one at some point in the near future. And then for the 5th Doctor sale, I got Ringpool World, a Turlo one, which features a sort of a Big Finish regular, well, not a Big Finish regular, but a character who appears in various other Big Finish stories. Huxley, he appeared in Jago and Life, and I think he appeared in Find and Replace. A 3rd Doctor Companion Chronicle, which is a brilliant Companion Chronicle. Then we've got another Companion Chronicle which wasn't part of a sale, but we have Project Nirvana by Cavan Scott and Mark Wright, part of the Black and White TARDIS arc. Yeah, a part of me feels like I should do a video on the Black and White TARDIS stuff, since we're all in isolation, and obviously I've got quite a bit of time to get around to doing that, to listening to all the Black and White TARDIS stories. So I might do that. That might be a fun series of videos talking about the Black and White TARDIS arc, and whether it works as an arc or whether it's an arc what was drawn out for too long. But obviously it links to the project series as well, and if you've been a fan of my channel for a long time, you'll know that I'm a massive fan of the project stuff, especially Project Twilight. Brilliant Big Finish story that was. Next up we have the Fourth Doctor Adventures, Series 9, Volume 1 and Volume 2. I have reviewed Volume 1. I reviewed that a couple of weeks ago, so if you want to know my thoughts on Purgatory 12 and Chase for Night, then please do check out that review. It'll be in my Big Finish review playlist. And I'm currently listening to the Fourth Doctor Adventures Volume 2 to review. I'm listening to that right now, and then once I've wrote the review, I'll film it, and that will be out for you to watch. So you'll get my thoughts on the Planet of Witches and what's the other story called? The Quest for the Engineer. So that'll be out very soon, fingers crossed. Next up we have the 12th Doctor Chronicles, a box that I didn't really plan on buying straight away. I would have got it eventually, but I just bought this on a whim. I was sort of online one night just looking at reviews of the box set. I thought, you know what, it sounds like an interesting box set, so I just bought it on a whim just to see what it was like. And yeah, so far I've actually really enjoyed it. I've listened to 2 stories of it so far. I've listened to the Mary Seacole story, The Charge of a Night Brigade, which is very much a standard traditional 12th Doctor story. It's kind of what you expect from the 12th Doctor era. It's a great story. But War Wounds by Mark Wright is the Danny Pink story, and yeah, it's a really good story. I'd probably say that's my favourite of the 2 I've listened to so far, and I believe it's people's favourite of the box actually, and it gives Danny Pink much needed character development. It sort of expands on the 12th Doctor and Danny Pink's sort of dynamic, and it's just a really interesting story. It's like a missing story from Series 8. You feel like this story should have been a part of Series 8 actually, because it just kind of fleshes a few things more out of from Series 8, what was sort of missing in the actual TV series. And I do plan on doing a video on the 12th Doctor Chronicles and a video on the 12th Doctor on Big Finish, because obviously the 12th Doctor's had a few short trips been released and this box set, and I'd like to do a video overviewing the 12th Doctor on Big Finish, but I can't do that video yet until the short trips come out in April. I think there's another short trip coming out, so I'll be doing a video on the 12th Doctor on Big Finish in the near future. Next up we've got Deadline, the last Doctor Unbound story I needed. It's Derek Jacobi, you know, so obviously it's going to be brilliant because it's got Derek Jacobi in, and I'm quite excited to listen to this, and I'm just really excited. So this was the last Unbound story, so I've now completed the Doctor Who Unbound range. Then we have a spin-off box set, which is Donna Noble Kidnapped. Oh, what a box set this is. This is a lot of fun. I really did enjoy listening to this box set. It was just a lot of fun. This box set is just a feel-good box set. It's a box set what just lifts your spirit. It's just a lot of fun. It's a nice, funny box set. You know, Donna pretending to be the Doctor, trying to fly the TARDIS. It is just a really nice box set, but I think my only real criticism is, where's Bernard Cribbins? Because it does feel like, you know, we are missing Wolf. The stories do try and get around it, especially the first one, saying, oh, your granddad's in Brighton with the sort of people from End of Time Part 1, you know, with Minnie, all that kind of stuff. So it does get around it, but it would have been, you know, I feel like that would have made the box set just absolutely perfect. Having Wolf in it, I think that would have been absolute gold. But Donna Noble Kidnapped, I do want to review it actually, because it is a lot of fun. Next up we have the Diary of River Song Series 7. Yeah, again, a box that I didn't plan on getting straight away, but here we are, I got it. And yeah, I've only listened to the first story, The Colony of Strangers, because that's the thing, Big Finish released so much stuff, you kind of start listening to stuff and then other stuff comes out, and then you sort of, the list, you know, the list soon piles up of things you're listening to. And this is no exception. I mean, I'm really excited about the Weeping Angel story because that's meant to be the best of the set. And I really like the sound of the premise of the box set, but River Song basically doing sort of a crime series and being sort of playing a detective role really, which is rather exciting. Then we have one of the most recent box sets, which is the First Doctor Adventures Volume 4. I'm listening to Return to Skaro so far, and I love it. Return to Skaro is a brilliant Dalek story by Andrew Smith. It is really great. I think Andrew Smith's really captured the feel of an early 60s story is brilliant. Obviously he wrote the Samurai story in volume 2, but I really am loving what Andrew Smith is doing. It is a really nice sort of sequel to the first Dalek story, and see how the files have evolved and changed since the Doctor and crew were last there. So yeah, I think this is great. Obviously got the historical story about the Russian Revolution. Yeah, I'm loving this box set so far. Return to Skaro, it's just brilliant. I love it. You know, I am absolutely loving this box set, and it is a definite delight to listen to. Then we have the last Big Finish release, the latest Big Finish release, and the last CD we're going to get for a while, and it is the Lives of Captain Jack, because Big Finish aren't posting any more CD orders out for a while, because obviously the whole situation going on in the world. Yeah, the Lives of Captain Jack Volume 3, where we see Jackie and River Song with Captain Jack, which is very exciting. Haven't listened to this box at all. I haven't looked at reviews of the set itself. I'm literally going to go in blind listening to this, and I'm quite excited to give it a go, really. So yeah, Lives of Captain Jack Volume 3. So the last lot of Big Finish I'm going to show you is Big Finish had a massive sale on Gallifrey, and you know, I took advantage of that sale, and I picked up Gallifrey Series 4, which is basically Gallifrey doing sort of an alternative sort of timeline. I think it is an alternative sort of parallel universe vibe to it, I think it is. Because I do want to start listening to Gallifrey. I do want to start listening to Gallifrey because I've got an idea what I want to do on the channel for Gallifrey, because I want to start listening to them and sort of overview the series as they go on. But when we get to Series 4, which is the first series as a box set, I'll probably review Series 4, 5 and 6, and the remaining stories as sort of standard reviews. But as for Series 1, 2 and 3, I'll overview them because, you know, they're sort of single releases are not contained in a box set. So that's my plan, and hopefully that'll be kicking off in the next couple of weeks when I start listening to Gallifrey, because that is something I want to do on the channel. I want to look at Gallifrey. So we've got Series 5, which I got part of the Angie Mahindra sale, and obviously a couple of weeks later they had a Gallifrey sale, so I went back and got Series 4. And then we have Series 6, which obviously features the new series Daleks. You know, this was a big thing back in I think it was released in 2013, so this was a big deal, because obviously Big Finish had to get a special license just to use the bronze Daleks on their cover. And obviously now in 2020 it's kind of common practice to see a bronze Dalek or a new series Dalek on a cover, so it kind of doesn't have that wow factor. But there's something special about this cover, and I absolutely love this sort of cover, because obviously the sort of fragments, you know, with Leela, Romana, Narvan and K9, and the, you know, the new series Daleks, it's just so striking, and it just takes you back going how exciting this must have been back in 2013 when, you know, the new series Daleks were on a cover of a Big Finish story. And obviously we've got an action figure now of the Axis Strike Squad Dalek, which is lovely. So I can't wait to give that a go. And I did pick up the sort of reboot, the Gallifrey reboot, which was Intervention Earth. Yeah, I've heard, you know, sort of good things about it. I mean, it's not a standout Gallifrey release, but I think it's sort of a 7 out of 10 release, what people have said. And obviously it tries to take Gallifrey in a different direction, because this is Juliet Landau as Romana, but then sort of things got changed and kind of reverted back in Enemy Lines, because this was meant to be doing something a little bit different, but Romana was changed back to Lalla Ward. I'm not exactly sure what happened between the release of those, but obviously this was kind of this release wasn't really planned, because they had it planned for Gallifrey with Juliet Landau taking over as Romana, but they reverted back to Lalla Ward. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to do a bit of research of why it changed back to Lalla Ward. But yeah, we have Gallifrey Enemy Line. So I've basically got Gallifrey Series 1 to Gallifrey Time War Volume 1. So I'm literally missing 2 Gallifrey releases, and I'll have the complete Gallifrey range. So that's the Big Finish section. So the last section of this collection update is books. So we have Doctor Who at Childhood End by Sophie Aldred. Now, I didn't plan on getting this book, but I saw it in Waterstones a week before it was released, and I just thought, you know what the heck, let's get it. And I'm so glad I did get it, because I really did enjoy this book, and I do want to do a video on it. Actually, I do want to do another book corner video, because I'm currently reading Killing Ground, a 6th Doctor Cyberman book, which is very brutal, but obviously I'll save that for a future video. But at Childhood End, I really did enjoy it. It was a great expansion on Ace. And one thing I've really noticed is that I prefer the 13th Doctor in book form. I feel like she works a lot better in prose than she does on screen. I feel like there's just something about the 13th Doctor, just what translates a lot better on page. But yeah, I'll get into that in the actual book corner video. But yeah, it's great to see how Ace has sort of changed over 30 years, expands on her actual company. And it's just a really good story. It is a really good story. Sophie Aldred just knows these characters incredibly well, and it sort of explains how Ace has so many different endings. So it is quite continuity heavy. Explains how Ace become this millionaire, because it links back to Illegal Aliens, that 7th Doctor Cyberman book. But yeah, definitely recommend At Childhood End, because it is a very solid book. It is a very good read. So I bought some more graphic novels. I got some graphic novels for my birthday, and it is The Weeping Angel of Mons, a 10th Doctor Titan comic, which is a volume 2. I've wanted to get this one for a while actually. I've always said back in 2016 that I wanted to get this sort of comic, because it just really intrigued me actually. And I'm so glad I got it. And I can't wait to give that one a read, because obviously now we're all in isolation, I'm starting to read some books, which is not a bad thing. And the last comic I got was the 6th Doctor collection of The World Shapers with Frobisher. Oh, look at Frobisher with his hat and his sunglasses. Look how cool he is. He must be cool because he's got sunglasses. So yeah, this is a 6th Doctor comic featuring the Cybermen, with a very interesting origin story. I'm not going to spoil it if you don't know. Obviously this is brand new and sealed. I haven't opened it yet actually. I'm quite excited to read this because I've heard a lot of good things about The World Shapers. You know, and obviously it's kind of one of those iconic comics. You know, when people talk about the Doctor Who comics, they often talk about The World Shapers because it is quite a prolific one, because obviously it features a very interesting thing, what happens with the Cybermen. So I'm really excited to give this one a read actually, because I am enjoying looking at you know, reading graphic novels, and you know, they're great, you know, the Doctor Who magazine comic collections. So that concludes this Doctor Who collection update. I hope you have enjoyed it, basically showing you all the Doctor Who merchandise I've got from January to basically now. What I've realised is I've bought quite a lot of Big Finish over the space of 3 months, and we've had some lovely Doctor Who figures, we've had some great Blu-ray releases, so we've had quite a few lovely Doctor Who things, and who doesn't want more Doctor Who figures, so it's all great. And I'm sure we've got some more good Doctor Who merchandise coming over the next couple of months. We've got season 14, which is incredibly exciting. So yeah, and some great Big Finish box sets to look forward to as well. So thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you have enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. So thank you very much, and goodbye.